Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel. My name is Jerry. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode. This is Pine Cove Farm episode number 3. And before we get started, I did want to share something with you for just a few moments. I had received permission from the Seasons Mod development team to show you something, and I just need to bring up that menu so I can move my mouse over and then slide over an image for you to take a look at. Hopefully that is showing up well on your screen. Let's see if we can go ahead and make that bigger, and we can. Okay. So what you are looking at is the diagram, if you will, of your planting schedule based on your seasons, okay? So this will be incorporated into the seasons mod. Right now, this is the second version of this that we've actually seen, and it's not quite yet been incorporated into the mod. In other words, this diagram is not part of the mod itself. This was just an image that they shared with us. And of course, we've been using this, or I've been using this to sort of plan our planting schedule and when we can expect things to be ready for harvest, etc. So we are finding ourselves here in Game Day 2 in episode number 3 of Pine Cove Farm. We are in the mid-spring time frame. And so you can look down here at the legend. The slashes with the green basically state that can sow depending on soil temperature. These are without the slashes. This is can sow, and then of course the orange is can harvest. So if you, like I said, with this map where we are right now, we're in mid-spring. So we're basing a lot of our plan on the fact that we've got the proper temperatures to go ahead and seed the crops that we have been seeding thus far. And of course, we've got other stuff to do on the next game day as well. And then of course, if I can direct your attention, for those of you that watch my Lawfolds series, you know that we are in, currently at the present time, we are in mid-fall. So we're doing some planting of winter crops. We've done some winter wheat, or actually we've done some winter barley. We're going to do winter wheat, and we're going to also do winter canola as well. So this is just something I wanted to share with you. I asked permission from the development team if we could actually do that. We were asked initially not to share this on our channels, and so I think I had sort of mentioned it, alluded to the fact that there was this diagram, but I couldn't show it to you. I've asked permission and was granted permission to be able to show this to you. So this will be part of the mod itself, just one of the menu screens that you will pull up to be able to determine exactly when you can expect to plant what. For those of you that may remember the early sort of early access, if you were one of the lucky ones that got the mod when I first advertised it, first communicated it to you, you may notice that there was kind of a crude way of displaying up in the center of the screen. It was kind of in the upper center screen portion, and it would show that, you know, this particular crop could be planted at this time. So obviously what we're seeing with that image, that diagram, is much cleaner, much better, much nicer, and I'm assuming that if we do Alt S to bring up the seasons menu, that we would expect to see that, you know, in a tab here. So pretty cool stuff, and I just wanted to show that to you and let you all see that. I will probably do that once again in my next Lawfolds series, because I do know that some folks watch Lawfolds and don't watch maybe this map, or vice versa. So I will get that out there to you guys to see. So we're going to back up to our tipper here, our smaller tipper, and basically go down and get some compost that we had placed into the compost facility down on the other side of the BGA. So we basically had, when the previous owners of this farm had basically left abruptly because they basically lost everything, sort of as a result of just the declining economy and the fact that they really couldn't get any help around here, because pretty much everybody that was looking for a job, ended up having to leave the local area and go elsewhere to find work. And so we're obviously trying to change some of that, but clearly it's one of those things that's just going to take a little bit of time to do. But anyway, they had left quite a bit of straw in the silo, and so what we did was we took that straw and brought it down to the compost facility, because we wanted to try to get some people back to work, and that's what we've done. And we've been able to employ a couple of different workers to run the compost facility, as well as the compost bagging facility. So we're going to basically take the compost that's been created through the production plant, which will basically take just about any material and turn it into compost for us. And or when I say any material, we put straw in it, and it turned out to be compost. I think you can also put grass and hay in as well. And so we're going to just, we'll see if we can make it around the facility here. I'm sure you guys remember this compost facility from Farm Sim 15. Well, it's made its way into 17, thankfully. Gives us other things to do here on a map, and we will go ahead and fill. I think we've got, how much do we have? Can we see that sign from over here? We've got, well, over 47,000. That's what that showed, was about 47,000 liters of compost. So obviously, you know, things are going to run a little slow around here at the compost facility until we get into high gear with our harvesting of our crops. Once that occurs, then I would clearly expect that we can go full production and be able to bring on all the workers that we would plan to employ here. Right now, looks like we've got 2 workers are here. There's their pickup and a, looks like a SUV Bronco type situation there. So we'll go ahead and back in here and dump the compost where it says compost. And imagine that, just like that. Not sure if this will hold all of this or not. And looks like there is a limit, so that's fine. And what will happen is, let me just get out here, because we are a little high in the air there. We'll spin around and come up here and take a look at this. Now, of course, Stevie does this wonderful, so this is kind of like a Miracle Grow type product, and that's what it looks like anyway. That looks like Miracle Grow, I think, to me. Yep, that looks like the Miracle Grow bag. Anyway, it's all-purpose growing compost, and so this little facility here takes the compost that we just dumped there in that receptacle, takes it, bags it, and then automatically sells it here on this conveyor. So we've got some good, honest workers here, and they basically do everything for us. And so life is good. So we're going to take this compost for now. And I tell you what, we might as well come back around and go ahead and fill this trailer, this tipper back up, try to be as efficient as possible with our runs back and forth and such. And we will take this and we'll dump this down in our main silo for now until we figure out what else that we might want to do with it. Obviously, there are some greenhouses on this map, and we want to be able to employ folks to run those for us as well. And I believe if the greenhouses work similar to what they worked, or how they worked in the ones on Goldcrest Valley, they basically take manure. They might take compost as well, manure and or compost, and then obviously they will take water. I believe it's just water. Oops, that's not good. That's no way to make friends in the community. All right. course, we could also dump the compost at the biogas facility, sell it there, and of course that will, I believe, create either liquid manure. I believe it's liquid manure that will create. So that's something else that we can look into. That's sort of making money and also getting a product that we could also use on our fields as fertilizer. And back to the main farm we are. Go ahead and turn our strobes off, because we don't need those anymore. And there we go. We will go ahead and pull this out over here and get this kind of out of the way as best as possible, and jump in our John Deere, pull in the seeder there, and head over to field 5 and plant that field in rye. We used this tractor the other day when we did corn down on our field that we're using for the BGA. So we'll go ahead and set this for rye, oats, rye. Let me just check my notes here. Yep, rye field 5. So basically, if you're sort of wondering with the seasons mod right at this present moment in time does not support any of the additional fruit types. So for example, this map has rye and oats on it, but rye and oats are treated like wheat and barley. So we just basically looked up wheat and barley on our scale there, our chart, and we're planting those as we would wheat or barley. So field number 5 is one of our, actually I think it might be one of our smallest fields. It's actually the field that you own by default if you play this map. That was a loud sheep. If you play this map based on the way that Stevie sets it up, then this field is the only field that you own when you start off. And so as you can kind of tell, it is quite small. Once we get there, you'll kind of see that it's quite small. And I think that you might understand that, especially when you're playing it with the seasons mod, how it can get, it can make for a very long year or two before you get to a point where that you could actually be profitable. And we will go ahead and unfold our seeder and spin them around here. We've already plowed. Zoom the camera out just a little bit where we can see things a little better, and we're going to use this because we have it, and we'll bring that line in just slightly. And let's see, we need to adjust our working width because it's way off, and we need to move our line back over. I'll soon figure out that I need to do that first before, and then we don't need an offset, and we can go ahead and fire that up and bring this into position and drop it. And we're planting rye on field number 5. hope you guys are all having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I am still quite a ways ahead on my recording schedule, so I'm actually, this is actually just Monday the 27th of February that I'm recording this episode, and you're going to be watching it on Saturday, the 4th of March. And it really is hard to believe that March is already here. Of course, as I record this, tomorrow, of course, is Fat Tuesday, or as my wife and I affectionately call it, Pancake Tuesday. So obviously she lived in England long enough to sort of pick up some of those traditions. I think that's more of an English tradition, the pancakes on Fat Tuesday. And so we will enjoy pancakes tomorrow, right before the Lent season starts. But it is hard to believe that spring is literally just around the corner. Here in Colorado, you know, I may have shared with you a few episodes ago how that it had been so unseasonably warm here, and I'm talking it had been probably 35 days, something like that, since we had measurable snow, and that's kind of rare for January and February, but you know, it is sort of what it is. And so we finally got snow last week, and the temperature decided to be more winter-like. There was a few days back in mid-February, mid to late February, where we were having daytime highs in the mid-70s, even flirting with 80 degrees. And again, that's just really unheard of for this part of the state, this part of the area. And so much so that I was even dragging out the water hoses and watering some trees and such, just to kind of keep things from completely dying on us. But we finally got some snow, and we finally got our temperatures back into more winter type temperatures, where it's dipping down below freezing into the 20s, in the high teens each night, and then daytime highs are in the upper 40s to low 50s or so. So that's kind of what's happening in my neck of the woods. Now, I did set the latitude for the seasons mod based on Colorado, so I'm sort of the setting for this map obviously could either be the Pacific Northwest, or it could be anywhere around the Rocky Mountains, obviously with the mountains and everything, as you see. So I did set the longitude, or I'm sorry, the latitude to be Colorado. I'm not real sure what difference, if any, that we will see. It's supposed to factor in the daytime or the daylight hours, I believe. I believe that's how that's going to work. Our plowing is almost done. We've almost got all the fields plowed. I've got Stan over plowing, I think, field 17 or 16, and we'll be planting that in the next game day, I believe, with sunflower. So we are planting all the crops. I think I mentioned that maybe in our introduction episode. We are going to plant all the crops. I did over on field number 16, that's going to be our potato and sugar beet field. I did rent the small 3-meter seeder, and I did seed a row of grass sort of down the middle of that field, and that will be our potato and sugar beet field. We only need a little bit of each, and I think that will do us fine with that plan. It took quite a while to harvest the very small field on Lawfolds, which is planted in sugar beet, with the smaller harvester, so it shouldn't take too long to harvest those with the big self-propelled units that we have access to here on this map. And of course, if need be, we can always plant a little bit more come the next season if we play this map that long. Not real sure at this particular point in time. Kind of depends on what is on the horizon with other maps. You know, there's still a couple of more maps that I've yet to play of Stevie's on Farm Sim 17. So we'll just kind of have to play it by ear. Let me go ahead and get the screenshot there for us. Get that out of the way while we're thinking about it. And as you can see, a big seeder like this makes pretty quick work out of a field this size. But again, you know, if you could imagine for yourself, if you only had access to this one field, and especially if you're playing the Seasons mod where you are forced, you know, the smallest or the shortest year that you can work with, and with the Seasons mod, is 3 game days per season. So if you think about it, you would not have access to the crops that are planted on this field until about game day 5 or 6, and then of course you would have to go through another 3 or 4 game days before you could plant again, and then of course another probably 3 or 4 game days before that harvest would be ready. If you're playing without the Seasons mod and you have your crop growth set to either, you know, normal or fast, and obviously you can harvest this map. This field is actually ready for you to harvest if you are playing the vanilla default map without any changes. It is available for you to harvest immediately. And then of course you can plant and fertilize and rinse and repeat as often as you want to, fast forward through the days, however you play the game. But I have a feeling that if you're anything like me, that once you get the opportunity to play with the Seasons mod and you start thinking about how you lay your fields out, and you start thinking about how you lay your crop seeding schedule and all that kind of stuff, you're not going to want to go back to playing without it. It'll be, you know, I started playing with the Seasons mod on the Lawfold series, and I was playing Coldborough Park Farm without it, and I just really realized that it was boring. Coldborough Park Farm without the Seasons mod was just really boring to me. And so best thing that I can sort of liken it to would be if you had played Farm Sim 15 with the soil mod, then obviously you sort of know what I'm talking about. And let's just take care of these little pieces here. For a field like this, we should probably have a slightly smaller seeder, but obviously this seeder comes in super handy on the larger fields, and really and truthfully, this will be one of the smallest fields that we actually will plant. All right, back this guy up slowly. Go ahead and fold him up. And let's just check our schedule here right quick. So field number 17 was where I had Stan plowing, and let's just make sure, see if he got all of that plowed. Looks like he almost did, except a tiny little stretch there, so I'll go up and help him out with that. Everything else has been fertilized to the max because we've got our fertilization settings set on one-time fertilization, because currently at the present time that is all the seasons mod will sort of accommodate. So if that ever changes, then obviously we will make that change and fertilize 3 times. I will tell you that if there's anything that I am somewhat disappointed about with Seasons Mod and in this sort of work in progress and beta phase that we're in, it would be that fact. It would be the fact that it doesn't utilize more than one fertilization step. And I think that when doing a story like this, I think it would really help fill the days up and provide more episodes per game day and give us a lot more things to do on the farm if we had to fertilize more frequently, if that was a requirement. And it's just not. And I've explained that in Law Folds and explained it here on this map. And so I've just got it set for one-time fertilization. That way we still get the maximum yield that basically the one-time fertilization setting will give us, and we can either do it, but it's just basically wasting our time and wasting our money. So we will just be fertilizing the one time for now, but hopefully that will be something that they will get fixed soon enough and we can take advantage of that. To my knowledge, when I used the Growth Manager mod, which is different from the Seasons mod, but it's very similar in the sense that it does sort of slow down the growth process and everything, that did function and it did work okay with multiple fertilization steps. So hopefully it's just a minor thing that the team needs to basically adjust to be able to get it to work on the mod and on all of our maps. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. This is really all I had to do for this episode. I think that tomorrow, or the next episode, I believe, if the numbering is right, will be episode number 4. We'll still be in this same game day, but we will only have one more field to plant, and that will be field number 6, which will be corn again, and that is for our own farm use, growing crop for corn. The first field, or the field that we planted in the previous episode of corn, that is going to be for the BGA. So field number 6 will be corn that we will plant for our use, either here on the farm or to sell. And then that should bring us to a close on the game day 2 mid-spring, and then we should be able to ease into late spring. Now, one thing that I did do off camera, just to kind of let you know, is I did bring out the Big M, the Corona Big M, with the forage harvester on the back of it, and I mowed just a little bit of grass to get our silage silo started so that we can get some silage going. And I will probably also buy some hay and some straw as well, just so that we can keep our animals productive until we can actually harvest in the near future. So thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you coming in and watching these episodes, and we will be back again on Monday with another episode of Lawfold. So take care now, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.